So as I said in the last video, I wanted to do an individual video on Haylie, who I've talked about a few times in the channel before, but as I specifically mentioned in the last video, I just started dating her last week on Sunday. So, well, I'm not exactly doing daily vlogs, even though I should really be going back to doing not necessarily daily ones, but a little more frequently. I do feel like nonetheless it's good to have kind of first and initial impressions on these kind of things, if for no other reason than several years down the line or several months down the line, this video will be good to go back to, just to refer back to exactly how I felt, kind of my memories of it, and if anything's changed in the meantime. Also the fact that if we are to date for much in the future, whether that be several months or a year down the line or further, this video would also be quite romantic just to send back to her, or again even just to watch myself. So as I said, we started dating last Sunday, but we've really been thinking and kind of talking about dating over the past, I'd say at least 2 months, a little over 2 months, soon after we initially became friends. Much like I did with Addy, not quite as fast, but much like with my relationship with her, the two of us very, very quickly found a connection together. Although, having just broken up with Addy and her still dating Addy and having her loves, we decided that when we wanted to be close, it might not be completely appropriate to, again, just kind of go into a relationship like that, having only known each other for a few days. Even though I started dating, well, I suppose at the time it would have been Brazy, but before that they had the merge, I met Brazy and started dating her, not even on the same day, but on the same night. A few hours after we had just talked to each other, just met each other, or had even been aware of each other at all. But regardless, me and Haylie did wait a little bit. Prior to the Sunday over that week, again as I said in my last video, we'd been talking for quite a few hours, specifically over that weekend when I went to the library, for example. We talked for probably, not just in the library, but just throughout that day, 4, 5, maybe even 6 hours. Again, several times throughout the day. We also obviously talked a lot on the Sunday. I had not only my first date with her, but what was not my first date, but one of my first proper dates, as in kind of watching something, sharing a call together, talking. Me and Addy did try to watch a few things briefly, but for whatever reason that was never really a major part of our relationship. We just kind of talked, texted each other, sending each other messages, that kind of thing. We never really watched anything proper like me and her did. So that was quite nice, especially given that my mum and little brother were out. We were able to talk a decent bit. Also just, yeah, it was yesterday. It seems crazy that it was just yesterday, but yesterday we went on another date, which would have been Thursday. We watched Game Boys, which is kind of like a comedic, light-hearted, slice of life, gay romance from Netflix, like a kind of mini-series. I thoroughly enjoyed that. In terms of the anime that we watched before, it was okay, I enjoyed it, but honestly, throughout much of most of it, I was really just I was more interested in the fact that I was with her, I was watching it with her, and that we were both actually talking. Again, especially consider the fact that I was kind of new to the whole experience, not my first time doing it, but it'd been a long time since me and Addy had, probably, yeah, over a year really. Well, not over a year, but probably, 7-8 months since we had last done it, and that had been quite brief. Although yesterday when we watched that, I was, again, obviously still interested in her, but a lot of my attention was also driven towards the actual show. As again, not that I didn't like the last one, I enjoyed it, but this one I found particularly interesting in dating. Other than that, there isn't much to say about what's been on recently. More the fact of what we're planning. I'm planning on getting her a few clothes, hopefully today, if not almost definitely in the weekend. And we're planning on our date for either Saturday or Sunday. Probably Sunday, in which, again, being quite new to it, we'll actually both be going out to buy something to eat, so we can kind of eat, if not the same thing, something similar kind of simultaneously while watching the same thing, and hopefully have an opportunity to just kind of casually talk back and forward like we did last Sunday. So a kind of dinner date arrangement. Other than that, Addy, who has unfortunately been offline for the past week, we're both hoping that she's going to come back soon. Probably today, if not, again, certainly during the weekend. Other than that, in terms of what we've talked about, we've talked a lot about Addy, who obviously we've both dated. I broke up with about 2 months ago, dated for about 2.5 years, and her having a kind of similar story. I actually dated Addy for a similar amount of time, about 2.5 years. She broke up once, I think over a year ago, like I did, but got back together with her. So I've kind of been talking about her experience with her. I've of course been talking about each other, kind of plans again, different kind of date ideas, different kind of shows she wants to watch, her life, the kind of thing she's been doing, and of course mine. And again, overall it's just been thoroughly enjoyable. The connection that I've had with Addy and the connection that she's had with Addy is of course a lot deeper, if for no other reason the fact that we've both dated her for so long. But nonetheless, I found that my relationship to her is quite different. I don't want to necessarily say in some ways worse, but I'd say in some ways certainly better. She's a lot more kind of active, energetic, and a bit more attentive than Addy was, who was kind of more... Addy was more kind of calmer, chiller, mellow, if you want to put it that way. Not that there's anything wrong with that, or that there's anything wrong with how Haylie is. Just again, there's a bit of a personality difference there. Addy was a bit more mellow, whether it's Haylie's a lot more kind of attentive, energetic, kind of active than Addy was. But again, given the fact that we've only dated for not even a week now, only 6 days or 5 days, again, last Sunday, that's only natural. And looking back to it, the fact that when I just started dating Addy Asprezi, they were in a system, kind of multiple personalities in one body, 7 personalities, each had a day. I believe Brazy's day was on Wednesday. And for our days we did talk a lot, again, for several hours, so in that sense it might not be fair to compare the two. given the fact that I'm sure if I dated Haylie for a year, 2 years, 2.5 years, well, I'd obviously hope that our relationship was still very good. It might not be quite, again, as active, as kind of obsessive, and again, really just as active, coming from both sides. But nonetheless, I really don't have much to say other than that I've just thoroughly enjoyed it. In some ways it's been a similar experience to dating Addie, and in some ways, being a different person, it's been an entirely new and exciting experience. And again, going forward, it looks like our relationship will continue to have many similarities, but also just as many, if not more, differences to my relationship with Addie, again, in terms of dates, buying clothes, her being on HRT as compared to Addie not. And of course, her being a bit more sexual than Addie was, who was a lot more prudish in a way. But yeah, just genuinely looking forward to it, and if for no other reason, I should start vlogging just to kind of talk about that. Again, that's a kind of archive's sake, so that I can look forward to this in the future, whether that be months, years, or possibly even decades from now.